So recently I was asked a question about Rand Paul and generally what I think of Rand Paul. And the answer might actually surprise some people because, it's obvious I am a very liberal guy. But there's some stuff about Rand Paul that I actually really like. And I'm not saying I would vote for the guy. I think he does have some totally insane views, especially when it comes to economics. But even in economics, he has some views that I agree with. So I guess I'll start with those, actually. Rand Paul is one of those people who is against trade agreements. Trade agreements are terrible. Used to be a Republican thing, but Bill Clinton signed NAFTA, and Obama has signed multiple trade agreements, unfortunately. Basically, it just outsources American jobs and is a huge benefit to business and not necessarily citizens. So, being against those is a good thing. He's also against the Import-Export Bank. Basically, what the Import-Export Bank does is give corporate welfare to companies, particularly airliner companies, airliners. So, yeah, Rand Paul is against that, and I'm totally 100% behind him on that. But probably probably the biggest reason I support some of Rand Paul's views is his views on national security and civil liberties. He is actually more liberal than Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, I believe, on national security and foreign policy, civil liberties. He's one of the leading critics of the NSA, and I just can't believe we live in a country now where the Democrats are the ones that are shilling for the NSA and saying, oh, we need to watch what everybody's doing and monitor everything they do. I mean, this is the stuff that like Democrats railed against Bush for doing. So I give Rand Paul credit for that. I like the fact that he's very anti-war. There are tapes of him in 2009 basically sounding similar to me, saying we got into this war for ulterior motives, including financial motives for members of the Bush administration, which I can't believe somebody who was a member of the Republican Party got away with saying that. So that's pretty awesome. I like the fact that he's been very critical of Obama's drone policy. I don't hear that from too many. I hear it from liberals, but I don't hear it from elected Democrats as much as I'd like. And then there's this whole thing where Rand Paul wants to restore voting rights to felons, which I think is an excellent idea, and I don't know why it hasn't been done. It should be done. I mean, seriously. I don't think felons vote one way or the other. It should be a bipartisan issue, honestly. So yeah, I support him on that. I'm trying to think of other things. Oh, drug policy. He wants a more sensible drug policy. Mandatory minimums. 3 strikes you're outlaw. Reform. Stuff like that. Which is awesome. I think he's more libertarian than he lets on. I think he's been shifting rightward to win this Republican primary. And I think he's a little bit closer to what Ron Paul's views were. What Ron Paul's views were when he ran for president. But I think he learned the lesson from his father's campaign and is, trying to appeal to the Republican base more. And I think he's probably a true libertarian at heart, which is great on social issues. But it's horrible, horrible on a lot of economic issues. Although he also does want to have more oversight of the Federal Reserve, which I'm totally in favor of. Foreign policy-wise, yeah, pretty good. And, you know, the thing is, it's hard to get things done legislatively, so a lot of the crazy shit he wants to do, I really don't envision passing. But presidents have a lot of executive control over things like the military and foreign policy. And that's another thing, is he wants to revisit the War Powers Act, which is, the War Powers Act sucks. It sucks. I'll probably make a video about it someday. But anyway, those are my thoughts on Rand Paul. Not necessarily the guy I'd be like, yeah, I'm voting for this guy in 2016, but it's somebody I have respect for, which, honestly, for me, respecting a Republican is like, oh my God, I respect a Republican elected official. I never even respect Republican elected officials. You really have to be a decent Republican to earn my respect. But yeah, Rand Paul has it. Hopefully I don't regret saying this, but yeah, he's decent. Like I said, I disagree with him on a lot of things. But as far as Republicans go, at least he has a nuanced view. A lot of these Republicans don't have nuanced views at all. You ask them to explain their positions, they will not go into detail on why they oppose certain measures. And Rand Paul, I've seen him do it before. He seems very much to be an intellectual to me, which is also appealing, and something that I think on the Republican side is honestly lacking. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on Rand Paul. I'm starting to ramble. It's pretty late at night, so I will let you go. You should like this video, subscribe, do all that good stuff. All right.